Hello everyone. I think you are not sleepy. After seeing a lot of theory talks. So I think everybody understood what is open source at the end, how to contribute, mistakes, lot of real-time examples as well, right? So let's take everybody code. Let's take Git together to cloud native together. Okay, from GitHub to security, to all level of security. Okay, to your cloud code to cloud security, you can say. Okay, so this is particularly how many of you do a cloud native or maybe you're moving to the cloud native thing or adopting container Kubernetes. I think everybody uses Docker, Kubernetes, and containers right now. So this is especially like I work in security domain. So whatever my experience with open source as advocating around security tooling. So I come up with the idea to create a landscape, small landscape, so anybody can start, those who learning. Rather than there is a lot of tools. If you see the CNCF landscape, there is new tool every day, right? But how we can trust the open source project as well, it's one of the kind of challenging thing, right? Because nobody adopting the new kind of project, right? People see the trusted only or some, right? This is also, we need to change. We need to have some kind of thing to what I should focus on. Okay, let's start. So today if you see in the market, before like what is the cloud, market is going, okay? 35 billion user and devices connected to the cloud every day, right? And it will grow by 2025, like 75 billion devices. Like we are how many phones or laptop you use? How many devices you use, which is connected to internet? Maybe everybody using laptop, mobile phone, like everybody has 2-3 Mac, like, right? So this number is growing, right? Not only that, like different, there are a consumer, industrial, commerce, then infrastructure, to run a company, military system, everybody using a cloud. There is a movement of moving to the cloud, right? That's why you see the name like cloud native and all those kind of things. Every day, 4 million, like this is just a number from the, I collected from the Git. And this is just average number, it might be more, we can't calculate. So 4 million code commit every day to the cloud. So that's why they're releasing DevOps kind of pipeline coming up. Everybody's building, changing the code, right? Triggering, and it has different kind of things, right? The way of development is also changed, right? So let's take the code to the how we run everything, application, okay? And what the security part? So what the major problem in the cloud security tooling? It's not for a developer. Every time I go and talk about security, developer people run away from my talk. Okay, okay, that's the security talk. Okay, or maybe there is a security guy, he run away from the coding part, right? I do pen testing and all those. But today I want to see kind of a merging of both things. That is the culture we call developer first security culture that need to be adopted. No matter you are a security guy or a coder. Okay, this is the something we need to care very early, right? From the starting of your development, committing code, building or deploying and running your application, right? Maybe today you are writing application in any languages, right? And maybe you are writing infrastructure as a code, right? Today you use cloud kind of, there is different tools like cloud formation, Terraform. So you building kind of a code and deploying whole stack, right? Now what problem it comes is one is your application security, one thing, right? That developer don't care about mostly. They want to go to home. Just release, done. I got output. I see the page. Okay, I don't care about security and anything. Okay, my work is done. So we need to change somewhere our attitude. We need to adopt this cloud native thing, right? So we need to see the app vulnerabilities very early stage of your development side, okay? Not after deploying everything, deploying. People do security practice, like they deploy everything and then they think about security, right? You need to think very early, okay? Then today the GitHub, or we're talking about a lot of open source today. Git is a center of everything, pulling your libraries and everything, maintaining today. So GitHub has become a kind of a So GitHub is one of a code. And today you see everybody have this kind of GitOps or CI/CD pipeline tooling that build everything and deploy faster to your cloud native application, and then consumer or devices get releases. Okay, so this is a part typical DevOps thing coming into picture, right? So now what happened every stage, early coding, you have to see the misconfiguration. Maybe you are using this infrastructure as a code or the Kubernetes. You're writing YML files, you need to see very early the misconfiguration, scan before deploying only. So you can mitigate a lot of things, right? You need to see what dependency you have. You may be doing agent or agentless kind of a thing to check your kind of security of your cloud native application after deploying. Okay, some kind of telemetry you are taking. Then you have the workload, right? Where your application, right? Maybe it's VM, EC2 instance, cloud. So there you need to think, because in this pipeline the configuration drift can happen. Again you need to check the security. So you need to, this is a loop. This is never ending loop. You need to keep thinking about the security every phase of the, maybe you can use a pre-commit today. There is a lot of good pre-commits that give a kind of good understanding. When you commit a code, before committing you get an alert, okay, this is a problem statement in my code. This is not a good practice. So have a best practice very early. So another thing is, now you deploy as a code, maybe you are deploying your code. Maybe you are like using a code repository to directly run. So this is the problem. Maybe your infrastructure as a code is configured. Maybe you have vulnerabilities. Maybe you have OSS vulnerabilities, which is like you use older version. You have seen the log4j kind of attacks, right? So you need to update your particular dependencies very, you need to think about those kind of terminology. It's not about the just running application and getting output, right? Governance is a very important, what kind of, when you deploy, what kind of framework, whatever compliances you need to apply in the cloud native, that is also very important. And configuration event, you need to have the monitoring system around it, that you can see what kind of changes happen after the deploying my code. Okay, so we can detect, we can roll back also, right? So this is a kind of a common thing. So I believe rather than becoming YML engineer, do a programmatically things, right? Do use SDKs. That give you kind of a better security, because you write a YML file. If it's got a drift, it's a bigger data breach, right? You try to solve all programmatically most of the things. That's why you see infrastructure as a code. So there is infrastructure as a program, right? You write a whole thing. There is a lot of tools today. There is a tool called Pulumi. Like people write you want to deploy infrastructure, you write a code actually. So there doesn't drift. You can update also, right? That is more secure. Now people are becoming YML engineer. They're just writing YML files. They don't care about what code happening, what drift happening. They just want their deployment and output. I think that is not a good practice. Okay. Rather than focusing on DevOps, start from the security point of view also, and from early stage make sure everything clear. So this is when I say cloud native landscape, I divided into 6 categories, 6 part of. One is identity management, IAMs. Then your network security, how you are deploying application, what package is talking with. Another thing, runtime security, because you are deploying application, you need to get some kind of telemetry data from it. So runtime, you need to check about runtime security. It's not just scanning your YAML files. Another thing, data. Whatever data it's secure or not. And there is a compliances governance. You need to have some kind of what to allow, some kind of policies around it. So you should follow those kind of practices. And another is vulnerability management. So you can, this is the tool, open source, totally open source tools. You can start your journey with. Very easy. Every tool is like very famous and well documented. You don't need, you get everything. So I'm building labs also around it. So you can reach me. I do like monthly meetups around any technologies. So this is one part. Okay, let's come to fun part. So everybody talk about the open source, this, you need to do this. But how you select this open source project I will select? What your category? Why I will say, okay, this is the repo, I will go and I will use this thing. Why? It's because it has a lot of star. It has a lot of downloads. No, never. So let's quickly, we have very less time. I think this is whole kind of your infrastructure. Okay, here you have local machines. Okay, you deploy, test everything. Okay, you put into GitHub repository. Okay, then your external contributor also can. It create a package. You take that artifact. Okay, then you update your packages, right? Then you upstreamly, there is a supply chain of these repos going to your containers, going to your libraries, right? It's consumed by your infrastructure, right? So when you start this thing, understand your dependency very early, okay? Your code, vulnerabilities very early you detect. There is something called SBOM. SBOM is a kind of supply chain security model, which we call it software bill of material. Let's say you go to a restaurant, you order something, idli dosa, you know what ingredient has. If something happens, you know what you ate. But in software world, we are eating a lot of open source projects, a lot of packages. You don't know what. After attack, you're saying where is vulnerability? What package? You don't know. Before that, only make sure that what you are consuming it's pure, it's not vulnerable, very accurate, and you need to think around that. Okay. And this is the one part, and this is the kind of category you need to check before any open source project you are adopting. You need to think a package identity, process integrity, health of the project, risk, security audits. If there is a security audit file they are doing or not, there is vulnerability management. You need to check everything, then adopt. Don't adopt any kind of thing or consume in big scale. It can affect your business. So, I think this is. So I will use PDF only, that is better. Okay. So I will cover very fastly. I think you should focus more. You see infrastructure as a code, you can deploy whole thing as infrastructure code. That can be a security risk. Another thing is VM. Make sure they use secure VMs. Container registry, make sure whatever registry you are pulling images is secure. Every public registry, don't pull any Docker images. Okay, I can make a modified image and give as a distributor. So make sure scan your malware scanning. Nobody do malware and secret scanning inside this. There is a lot of crypto mining and all that happen. So think about that when you do a VMs or bare metal. You use anything KubeVirt and deploy your Kubernetes, whatever serverless WebAssembly kind of applications. Make sure that you apply LSM, which is Linux security models, okay, which give a policy audit, or use eBPF kind of observability to tackle some of the things. So you make sure that it's very secure. Then whatever you are applying to the cloud control plane, make sure that this is also you should take care of cloud security management, cloud identities, your API gateways, that whatever application you are coding, that is secure. Another thing, when you expose what data you are exposing, so make sure that there is 100 of cloud provider maybe you are using, make sure that whole thing. So when you deploy whole thing, let's say you are using 5 cloud providers, let's say, and you should do a SBOM whole infrastructure. and then scan your SBOM with vulnerability management. So that is the best way to tackle all these things. So that's what we call a CNAPP platform. Okay. So you should do this kind of practice because vulnerability can be here after detecting can be vulnerability, right? So make sure that after deploying also you should do this thing. So this is a quick kind of thing. I know it's very there is a lot of thing, but this is I will share with you. This is a good way to go to cloud. You can think of. So this is my community. You can join Cloud Native folks. I run a multiple communities. You get all the resource practically. There is all documentations, labs, workshop free for all. So you can check it out. I do host monthly meetups in Bangalore. This is Cloud Native folks community. I extensively talk about Cloud Native, Golang, Rust, security, or CNCF graduated any project. So you can join. So that's kind of a 15-minute rant. Maybe it's boring for you, but I think you should think security very early and think this way of when you work in any kind of manner.